It's a beautiful day, but we're expecting some storms. I thought this would be a good day to do a garden update here in Hawksnest Drive in South Haven, Michigan, Dano's garden. And I'd like to show off my raised vegetable bed, which has survived a number of issues and is doing really well in many ways. We've had a bumper crop of cucumbers, and we're starting to get tomatoes. I don't know what the squash is going to do. I've actually had volunteers from the compost heap, and some of them are turning out to be way too big, and some of them are not squash but gourds. But I think at this point I'm just going to let it go. We've had a real lot of trouble with caterpillars and other insects in the kale. We got plenty of kale, and so the rest of it I'm let the caterpillars have, and I'll get some more leaves, and then I'm going to pull it out and start all over again. So that's what that is. So it looks pretty good. We may even get some peas. We've had awfully crazy weather. It's either been scorching hot, or very rainy, or very dry. It's just been a summer of extremes. You can see the cucumbers have just gone crazy. I've been giving them away to all the neighbors. Looks like I got some I better pick. Oh my, I better get out here, pick some before they get too big. Look at that guy. So, you know, we have no lack of cucumbers, and we will have more tomatoes. So that's looking good. Let's take a walk to the front. I got a tree over here I want to plant. It's a cottonwood from Chicago, a baby from the one that I planted many years ago. I particularly love cottonwoods. Here my hardy kiwi is starting to grow. It's about 6 feet tall, and I've got to give it another thing to climb up. I'm going to have it climb up to the top of the deck and go around the deck fencing. We'll see how that works. We had a lot of volunteer impatiens from last year, which is kind of cool. Those are almost all volunteers. I only planted a few white ones. My herb garden's doing really well. I processed about 54 trays of dried herbs the other day, and I'm starting to fill those trays up again. Here's some lovely anise hyssop, and I've started to harvest the flowers and the leaves for winter teas. It's got a lovely anise flavor. Very nice. This is the herb bed that I put in last year. The echinacea are doing just outstanding this year. I've been fertilizing them, and I've been moving them around. I'll probably move these guys to another spot, but for now they're here. And we got a lot of St. John's wort this year in the yard. So I'm letting it grow, and I've been harvesting it and saving the dried parts of the St. John's wort for medicinal teas. Let's look at the deck. You can see that my hops vine is enormous. This was all the way one summer's growth, and pretty soon it'll be setting out those little, looks like pine cone seed pods, and I'll be harvesting these for teas, for a nice relaxing tea in the summer. I'm not making beer, but I'm making tea. They're doing really good. Look at the size of that thing. I brought a root from my plant in Chicago, and this is what I got in a little over 2 years. And that'll all die back to the ground, and this will all end up in the compost heap, and next year it'll sprout up from the ground and do the same thing. Here's some tomatoes that I planted from seed. They're starting to fruit, and I'm going to have some nice little tomatoes. I'm looking forward to that. My deck cucumbers are providing an enormous amount of cucumbers. I planted way too many cucumbers this year. These gorgeous marigolds I planted from seeds that I gathered from a planter in front of a bookstore in South Haven, Michigan. And the seeds sprouted this year and look so amazing. They're just beautiful. My caladiums took almost 3 months to emerge. I planted them in April, and they just started to come up in the second week of July. So who knew, it would take that long. I thought they were dead. Oh, the sun came out. Oh man, really bright. I'm not sure. Let's take a look at these cactuses. Wow, these guys bloomed last night. I've been getting blooms off and on. I got one coming here, right here, and they're just so pretty. They only last for about a day, but I've had this cactus and some others like it since I was in college. And some TLC, love, and care. I get flowers every summer. And right here I got some beautiful larkspur. I just love it. They're hitchhikers from Chicago. I'm going to try to gather some seeds and restart them in my garden here. So far I've had no success. Maybe this year's the year that I gather some good seeds. There's my lemongrass. I've already harvested it twice and have quite a bit dried for teas. Looks like I'm going to have more. It grows really vigorous. And the sun's coming in and out. The cow lilies are doing really good. They're beautiful. We so love them. So love them. I let the seeds go. I let the bulbs go dormant, and I store them in the basement for the winter, and then bring them out in the spring and plant them. My little side garden here is doing really good. Been gathering a lot of calendulas for, again, for teas and salves and tinctures and other things. It's very good for the skin, for eczema, for skin irritations and rashes. It's very soothing. Here's my cana lily over here that I grew from last year's bulbs. Got some peppers that I'm trying to revive. Trying to get a second show out of these Chinese Oriental greens. Got my nice little zinnia flower bed here. Looking really pretty. Nice things. Really nice. Let's take a look in the front. Oh, there's another cana. Let's take a good look. I just love these. I started out with just a handful of bulbs, and now after 2 years I've got bunches of them. They're all over the yard. We're almost done. Well, let's take a look at these lilies. Oh man. These lilies are something. These were here when we got here, and they're really special. Just lovely. They're sprinkled throughout this bed, and this bed still needs a lot of work. I got a lot of things I either have to take out, thin, or just eliminate. It's still kind of congested, but I've made a lot of progress. Let's just take a walk along the sidewalk. This ornamental oregano is starting to bloom. I wish it had real flavor, and it's kind of a labor-intensive plant to keep watered and track of, but it's got some pretty flowers. Here's more hitchhikers from Chicago, more calendulas, and this is my mixed flower bed and herb bed. So I've got sage, I've got dill in here, I've got garlic, I've got wormwood, basil, more sage, I've got some kale in here. You can see the hydrangeas are starting to bloom, and of course the calendulas. These are all volunteers from last year. I didn't have to plant them. I've got valerian root over here, and over here we have just a wonderful bunch of white sage, a different variety of white sage, zinnias, some really beautiful phlox that blooms. That's white. That's really nice, a nice plant. And these daylilies have been just amazing. They're just so beautiful and fragrant. And here's nonstop catamint. I mean, it just puts on a show constantly. The hummingbirds love it. The bumblebees love it. And I love it. I cut a lot of the flowers for drying and make tea. And we got echinacea up here too. So here's my rosemary plant. Looking really good. And here's I've had that rosemary plant for over 15 years. And here we got some more daisies. A few go a long way. I took a lot out last year. The red maple is beautiful. We live in a beautiful place. So I feel very blessed and very happy and content. I'm working with this yard. It has limitations and possibilities, but I wish you all well and thank you, and I hope you have a blessing this day and that you are a blessing as well to other people. Thank you very much for watching. Be well and have a safe journey today. Thank you.